So I just wanted to let you know this morning that today Spirit is leading us out of the tomato patch and back into another musically themed message. This is just the way Spirit speaks to me often. I'll wake up hearing a song. And I wonder how many of you are familiar with digital music like Spotify or YouTube music. Let's see, there's Pandora, I think. There's probably others too. Amazon. Oh yeah, right. Amazon. But something that I have come to appreciate about digital music is the software that's behind it. AI, if you will. I mean, AI's been behind a lot of things for decades probably, but I love that it is really good at offering me new songs to listen to based on other things that I've requested very specifically, like typing in words just to find the old song from a musical that I can only remember part of. It'll put it right there. So I've been exposed to and following suggestions of this music-based AI into a new genre of music called country pop. Don't hold it against me, y'all.
Those of us who lived through the 70s know what you're talking about.
Yes. Well, this all started a few years ago when I actually asked, I use YouTube music, and I said, hey Google, play the Get Up song by Blanco Brown. Anybody ever heard that one? Mm-hmm. I love it. And I wanted to learn it's a dance song that I wanted to learn and show off to my grandkids. So it played that, and I learned the dance, and then it started playing country pop whenever I didn't give it direct guidance. And from there it played some new selections like Fancy Like. Have y'all ever heard that song by Walker Hayes? It's cute. It's really cute. And so I've had fun exploring this new interpretation of country music, because country music has never been my favorite kind of music ever. I can do bluegrass, I can do folk, but whiny country music just drags me down. But so, in some way, it was no surprise when I started hearing for the message today, this faint sound of a distinctive banjo solo. And I'm like, play that again? And it's like, oh, well, maybe it's a mandolin. I can't really make it out. I'm accustomed to musical leadings, but this one was it's like, what is it? I hear banjo music, paddle faster. It's like, I'm so far away, I need to paddle some to find out what this song is. It wasn't the typical picking and grinning that my bluegrass cousins played years ago. We used to get around together for jams, and it wasn't that kind of banjo solo. This was light and fast. It was more like the beginning of a Scottish reel. And it's like, this is familiar, but I don't know what it is. Well, it turns out that what I was hearing was the short introduction to a country pop song by singer-songwriter Kane Brown. Anybody know Kane Brown? He has a really velvety voice. This song is entitled What Ifs? What Ifs? In the song, the singer is pointing out to a woman he's hoping to court that her worry about the what ifs is what's keeping them from getting together. He even names for her some of the what ifs that he's imagining that she's thinking. What if I hurt you? What if I leave you? What if I find somebody else and I don't need you? The first part of this song got me thinking about how we are all, and I think I could say all pretty fairly, we're all guilty of using those two little words to stop us in our tracks. We second guess, we criticize, we judge something that happened a long time ago with what if. Or we doubt the possibility of something in the future, something that hasn't even happened yet. We shoot it down with what if. We start framing all kinds of possibilities that in no way can really even satisfy the question of what if. When we think of what ifs from the past, we think things like, well, what if I had tried harder? What if I had done this, or if I'd done that, or what if I'd not done this or that? What if I had eased off a bit or been more patient? What if I had spoken up? Or my favorite, what if I'd kept my mouth shut? But when we what if far off possibilities, we say, well, what if I was braver or smarter or stronger, or I don't know. What if I was more confident? What if I was more fun? That's always mine. What if I fail? What if something goes wrong? I like what children's author Roald Dahl wrote in the voice of Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. He says, you'll never get anywhere if you go about what-ifing like that. Mm-hmm. And this isn't in The Chocolate Factory, it's in a different book with Willy Wonka. Mm-hmm. Asking what if seems to be such a common human experience that it is well represented in pop culture, including pop country music. There's actually an Emmy Award-winning animated Marvel cartoon series entitled What If? And it's been running for 2 years. And I love their theme. It's dare to face the unknown and ponder the question, what if? I'm not a Marvel, knowledgeable person about Marvel, but it makes me want to watch it. Ponder the question, what if? There's also a movie from 2013 entitled What If that features Daniel Radcliffe, the star of Harry Potter. So it's a common thing. The truth is of the matter is that this type of what-ifing can make you crazy, because you never know what if for sure. What-ifing to me is like taking worry in one hand and imagination in the other hand and mixing them together for a recipe for disaster. What-ifing can be so exaggerated. I think Kane Brown captures it well. Reminds me of Henny Penny. What if the sky falls or the sun stops burning? We could worry about them what ifs till the world stops turning. Well, since there's no real way to know the answer to all of our what if questions, it can become debilitating. We just get in this spiral. So much so that the common advice among many counselors and many advisors is to stop asking what if. But y'all know me better than that. I think I'm going to beg to differ with that, because you can't shut down a natural tendency. It's a human instinct to what if. We second guess though. We second guess the past. We shut down the future by asking what if. But it doesn't have to bind us up with the ropes of impossibilities. I like to pair the question what if with the Quaker adage that was originated by William Penn. Let us try what love can do. Let us see what love can do. Contemporary artist and blogger Erin Hansen puts it really well when she writes, "There is freedom waiting for you on the breezes of the sky, and you ask, what if I fall? But oh, my darling, what if you fly?" Separately, the words what and if are fairly benign, but paired together in the light of loving ways, they represent unlimited possibilities. You can imagine positivity. Kane Brown imagined positivity as he was finishing this song to his would-be girlfriend. What if I was made for you and you were made for me? What if this is it? What if it's meant to be? What if I love all these what ifs away? What if questions asked from fear do they have the power, or we give them the power, to hold us back? Asking them from a loving stance can help us find new perceptions. And I like to imagine that there are probably millions of inventions that came into being when someone asked from a positive perspective for a creative solution. I think of the sewing machine and what if being the question behind that. When we try and see what love can do by considering what ifs from positive perspective, we can begin to see where that can heal old wounds. We can ask ourselves, what if I was doing my very best at that time? What if I forgive myself for what I didn't know then? Asking positive what ifs of the future event, it can make a totally different path. It allows us to admit what we're afraid of, but it still makes room for outcomes that aren't built on worst case scenarios. If you think about it, if you've done a worst case scenario, what if you walk into that situation kind of on flight or fight? My favorite what if questions for future events are, what if everything is really working out for my good and the good of everyone concerned? What if it ends up being amazing? What if I wasn't afraid? What if, and this is a big one, what if I lean into my own belief that spirit is active in the lives of everyone, including me? Doing a loving turnaround of negative what ifs doesn't mean eliminating them altogether, or doesn't demand that we stop asking what if. Some people find it helpful to write down their list of all their negative what ifs in one side of the page, and on the other side of the page write a list of positive what ifs. And then some people take the negative what ifs a step further by asking deeper, gentler questions of the fearful concerns. The final question might be, what if this works out for the best? What if it's meant to be? I like what fiction writer Tom Clancy says about writing his novels. There are only two questions with which he begins a novel. One is, what if? And then the other one is, what next? That what if, what next has not failed him, obviously. And it also gives us some groundwork for another creative approach for finding deeper meaning in our what if questions. And this work is called Circles work, and I can include a link to, or I can include them in the notes of our YouTube video for you to capture them succinctly. I'll also put a link to Kane Brown's song, What Ifs. But whenever I have a coaching client who is just tormenting themselves with a what if, I call upon their imagination. And this is the same imagination that's conjuring all these crazy what if questions. And like, what if they said, what if I had been braver? I ask them, how would you feel right now if you had been braver in the past? How would being braver then have changed your life now? What would you be doing if you had been braver that you're not doing now? Or on the other side of that, what would you not be doing had you been brave that you are doing now? The answers to these questions help point them toward new steps and new perspectives that are useful in the present moment. The same applies to a future experience. What if you were to be braver? What would you be doing? How would you feel right now if that part of you is going to be braver? What would you be doing now that you have to be doing in order to be braver then? So it gives you something to aim for in the present moment rather than continually beating you up with unresolvable, impossibly fearful what ifs. Asking what if doesn't have to lead us into calamity or collapse or freeze us in our tracks. It doesn't. When we find ourselves naturally, innately asking what if, a positive outlook can make all the difference in the world. When it comes to second guessing ourselves with what ifs, past, present, or future, what if we see what love will do? And so it is. Amen.